Coming up on this episode of NPS Now, community partners dressed up and read to students. A national spokesman visited our elementary schools to talk about healthy choices. And a university president gave a timely speech at Norview High School. All that and more next on NPS Now. Hello and welcome to NPS Now, your source for news and information about Norfolk Public Schools. I'm your host, Karen Tanner. Partnering with schools is one of the many ways businesses assist our district. The United Way of Southampton Roads, along with a local company, spent the morning with one of our elementary schools. Debbie Horniak has the story.
Overhead.
The KPMG company, located right here in downtown Norfolk, partnered with PB Young Senior Elementary by coming out to the school and spending some time with the students.
And this is my wild thing.
United Way has pulled together something called United for Children. And in that partnership, we've got the medical school, we've got the city of Norfolk, public housing, the school system, of course, United Way. Partners come together to say, what does it take to make sure children succeed, that no children fail. And so we know that books are important, but more important, learning is important. And so KPMG said, we'd love to do a reading rally. Can you work with us on it? And then we called the principal and Miss Lillian Brinkley, and we pulled together an event here at the school with KPMG.
One of the important things about our firm is the time that we spend in the community really adding value and making an impact. And 5 years ago, we started KFFL, KPMG Families for Literacy, because of all the kids in our nation that fight the challenge of illiteracy. And we couldn't find a better cause for all our people to rally around. And all of our offices across the country this holiday season are going out to schools like PB Young Senior to read to kids and to bring books to them that they can take home with them. And it's one way that we touch kids and are able to make an impact in their lives.
This is the first time PB Young has been chosen. The program is a 5-year program, and it's a national program, so books are being distributed all across the country. Each child in the school today received a copy of the book that was read to them, which they can take home and put their names in and call their own first book.
Subway's Jared Vogel visited 3rd through 5th grade students at Grandbeam Elementary School to tell them his story of weight loss and introduce Subway's 15-day fitness challenge. The challenge is designed to get young people to think about eating healthy foods and exercising daily.
Well, we're here, really sharing my story about how I unfortunately weighed well over 425 pounds, sort of the mistakes that I made starting in 3rd grade. And just the sedentary lifestyle, the love of junk food, the combination of all that and what it did to my body, what it did to my life, and hopefully have them learn from some of my mistakes so they can make better decisions. So we're just trying to get that message to the importance of maintaining those good, healthy habits every day.
Dr. Edward Ayers, president of the University of Richmond, and members of his admissions and financial aid staff visited Norview High School to talk to students and parents about the value of higher education.
We have 2 parts tonight. First part is really going to be about freedom of education opens all these doors. It gives you a chance to choose the life that you want. Then I'm giving a talk about the freedom of the end of slavery. I'm a historian. I'm going to show cool things that our students have helped build that are used all over the world. So there's 2 kinds of freedom tonight.
We're ecstatic. We have 3 students already at the University of Richmond on scholarship, and I think I mentioned one of our students this evening just received his letter, early admissions to Richmond. And what I think it says is that We are a school of significance. We have high expectations. Our kids are performing. They're looking at fine educational institutions to challenge themselves because they're excited about the future.
It feels great, like seeing them, like seeing the people, the representatives from the school. Like I already know what to expect. These are great people, and it's a great school, and I'm just really looking forward to actually going through the process of getting enrolled and stuff. I know I still got the whole school year ahead of me, but it's just really nice to know that I have that waiting for me at the end of the school year.
Maury graduate and former North Star student Frank Callahan recently visited Norfolk Technical Center to discuss making a donation with the staff. Mr. Callahan, who currently works for Apple, also spoke to students about the positive impact North Star had on his career and his life.
The donation itself is exciting, but when the alumni come back and tell them how excited they were just to be in this program and how it maybe changed their life, it motivates them so much. He came last fall, and I asked him to do a quick, summary of everything, and his talk was very short, but it just came out naturally, the love for the program and how it energized him to do more.
In today's world, with project-based learning, you need materials. You need to be able to touch and use different materials. So it's important to have access to those. And in talking to the instructors here, they go through things all the time. And so I want to just make sure they have the tools they need to do what they're doing.
Booker T. Washington High School Principal Adrian Day and Athletic Director Tim Haynes proudly accepted a check for $2,600 from James Church, a Booker T alum and president of Freedom Forward, for their annual Drive for Your School event. The program, which is sponsored by Ford, raises money for schools by donating funds for each test drive that occurred during a one-day event in the school's community. Gifts from this year's NPS Giving Tree filled up a conference room before being distributed to the parents of children in transition. The hope is that over 250 children from over 100 families will benefit from the generosity of others.
It means a lot for a child who is in transition and families who are in transition, that on Christmas morning the child has a gift that they can open, and just to see a smile on their faces just makes it all the better. It just gives me so much joy to know that we're doing something for our students, because what we do every day is for the children in our city.
Join us for a fun night of ice hockey as the Norfolk Admirals hosting annual NPS Admirals Night Out on Friday, January 24th at 7:30 p.m. at the Norfolk Scope. The Admirals will take on Wilkes-Barre Scranton Penguins. Tickets are only $5 for parents, students, and staff members. For more information or group tickets, contact Charlie Cohen at 640-1212, extension 23, or email Charlie at charlie@norfolkadmirals.com. If you have any great story ideas or events happening at your school, please be sure to contact us at npsnews@npsk12.com. Coming up next on NPS Sports, an in-depth look at Norfolk Public Schools boys and girls basketball teams. Stay tuned.
Welcome back to NPS Now. I'm Steve Sutmiller, the Senior Coordinator of Athletics. Today we're going to talk a little bit about winter sports, and we're going to kick it off with basketball. In the studio today we have Matt Hatfield from Virginia Preps. Matt, welcome.
Glad to be here, Steve.
All right. Matt, tell us a little bit about what you do and how you're involved in high school sports in the area.
Sure. I am the state basketball editor for VirginiaPreps.com. We're the internet resource for high school sports throughout the state of Virginia, owned by Rivals.com. So I cover as many teams as I can and players throughout the whole state. Also do a weekly radio show on ESPN Radio 94.1, and also some TV work for Cox Sports. So stay pretty busy throughout the fall and the winter.
All right. We're here to talk about basketball.
Yeah.
We're going to get right into girls basketball, and we have the defending state champion Lake Taylor Titans from the 3A level, but our new state classification now has 6 levels. Let's talk a little bit about the girls and how you see the Eastern District teams play out?
Well, I certainly think you got to start with Lake Taylor as one of the teams, even though they lost their star player in Fionda Fitzgerald to Temple. Coach Saunders Sawyer really has a relentless defensive attack, and they got a couple of holdovers from that squad that'll be back. I think Maury, certainly in 5A as a contender. They've had all 5 starters now for 3 years. Coaching change, but I still think they have the talent and the experience now that they've gained throughout playing postseason games to be a contender. And then I'd also look at Wilson potentially in 4A as a team that can be fly in the ointment, so to speak. Maybe not the favorite to go on and make a lot of noise in regional and win a state championship, but a team that can upset somebody.
All right. Just going to backtrack to Lake Taylor a little bit because they are the defending champion. How do you see them overcoming that loss of that star player, Fionda Fitzgerald, last year?
Well, I think Coach Slater really has to spread out the scoring now. You don't have a player that can go drop 25, 30 points in a game, so they've got to get a balanced attack, really from India McKinney, who averaged about 12 a game. Kiara Cooper, their outside shooter, was right on 8 or 9 points per game, and really thrive on that defensive pressure that turns turnovers into points. So I think you'll see a lot more of a deeper rotation. She won't rely on those 5 or 6 main players as much. Maybe go into the bench a little more and go 8 or 9.
Okay. All right. We have other teams in Norfolk.
Yeah.
And Booker T's in that 4A level. They have a new coach. Any expectations from the Bookers?
Well, they got a 5'11" senior, Whitney Blackwell, who's one of the better shooters around. So I think they can definitely rely on her to stretch the defense out. Going to need some inside play, rebounding to compete with some of the teams like Lake Taylor and Maury who are used to being there come playoff time. But definitely, if she has a hot shooting night, they can be dangerous.
Okay. And then Norview's at the 5A level. They have a second-year coach in Coach Shoveley. How are they looking, and who can potentially lead the Pilots?
Jasmine Shevers and Rolanda Taylor are 2 players to watch out for. Not a lot of height in the front court, so they're going to need the guards to really be active throughout, offensively, defensively, create some turnovers, hit some open shots from the outside. But if they pull off an upset, around early January and get some momentum going towards the playoffs, that's a big thing for them, I think.
Now our lone 6A school, the Granby Comets. Coach Bryant is in his second year and has some young players that are talented. Had a good summer. Some expectations are high for them. What about the Comets?
I really like their future. This isn't a team that might not win a championship this year, but 2-3 years from now, they keep that core together, that nucleus. Watch out. China Nixon, one of those freshmen that's getting early playing time, had 16 rebounds, 7 steals against Booker T recently. She's a force to be reckoned with. I like their future. They're the team that you'll see a lot of buzz around January into February. You'll hear much about Lake Taylor and Maury throughout the year, but Granby's that team that's coming.
Okay. Maury Commodores, new coach. Not really a new coach, but she's back.
Yeah.
She did a heck of a job on her first run, Coach Parker. Talk a little bit. They have some talented players. They already have somebody that's committed to the Division I level.
They do.
So what's the outlook for the Commodores?
Well, I think that, like you touched on, Steve, the familiarity Coach Parker has with these players, having been there before with them, will help the learning curve and the adjustment period, because there's always that adjustment with new coaches. So it's not, I don't think, as big with her. Shanette Hicks, who's going to Virginia Tech, a junior, committed. Also, Gianna Smith committed to Old Dominion. That's a 1-2 punch that matches up with anybody in the state. When they're both on, look out. They're a team that really can be a problem for many people come playoff time. And I think people are kind of looking at the collision course, them and Princess Anne deep in the postseason.
Okay. And that's going to be an interesting matchup. Yeah. We get to see that twice during the regular season. Yeah. And we know that matchup between Lake Taylor and Princess Anne in the past. We've always looked for that at the regional and state play, but now with this new format, we're going to see Princess Anne and Maury collide during that regular season. We'll put you on the spot. Who's the favorite?
I would say, well, it's broken up into 2 divisions, Lake Taylor in 4A, Maury in 5A. I would lean with Lake Taylor just on their history and having been there before, but I certainly think Maury, they haven't beaten them. I think they'll get them potentially this year. They have a chance to, do it. They got Hicks back, they got Smith back. This group has been playing together, and Lake Taylor is young in some key positions. So early in the season, you got a better chance to get them than late, where I think they'll build momentum. So I'd give Lake Taylor the slight nod, but I won't be surprised if Maury overtook them.
All right, I'll put you on that hot seat. I can't make a prediction. So, all right, we're going to get right into the boys. Some exciting boys teams that are out there. And we'll start at the 4A level. In Norfolk, we have Booker T and Lake Taylor. What about the Titans on the boys' side?
Well, Kenny Brown's got a guard he can really rely on, and Trayvon Lockhart, around 18 points per game a season ago. He can really hit the three-point shot, and he'll maximize his opportunities with some other pieces coming over from football that they can put in the front court or back court, so you can't double team him as much. So I think Lake Taylor's a little deeper than people realize. They're one of the few teams that has, in the whole area, 4 or 5 starters back. So this is probably his most experienced team he's had in a while, and a team that, you know, could be a little up and down early, but I think come playoff time, they'll know what to do.
Okay. All right, Booker T, great tradition. Coach Sanderlin, a fiery coach, has been there a while, has been down a little bit. What are the Booker's expectations?
Got a chance to see them against Phoebus in the season opener, and they were really impressive. They got a freshman, Breon Gaddy, who grabbed 18 rebounds in that game. Very high on Stephen Whitley. They call him Diesel. He's perhaps the most improved senior in the whole area. From last season to now, he's just improved all of his all-around skills on the basketball court, offensively and defensively. Their guards are a little undersized, so that could be trouble when they face teams with bigger guards with length. But I think front court-wise, they're going to be okay. And defensively, you know, Coach Sanderlin's teams will always get after it with high pressure, intensity. They're going to be dangerous.
Yeah, Coach Sanderlin, always excited, and it's fun to watch him. All right, 5A level, we got Norview and Maury. What about the Pilots, and how do they look this year?
Norview's got a host of underclassmen. Jonathan Wilson really is, I don't think he's throwing away this year, but I think he's building towards next season to make a deep playoff run like they did a couple years ago when they won the Eastern District. I don't think they're an Eastern District championship team yet, but when they're hitting three-point shots, they can beat anyone in the whole Hampton Roads area and in Norfolk. I like Jalen Frazier, the sophomore, and junior Damian Madison. Both have good bloodlines because their brothers have played before high-level basketball. So Norview's a team that offensively very potent. Got to get the defense to play really well to beat some of the better teams.
Okay. And then Maury Commodores, odds-on favorite. We've heard it in preseason. Coach Baker has a young but a veteran team. So what's the outlook for the Commodores?
Well, it's an interesting mixture, as you said, Steve, with senior guys in the likes of Mike Bassnight, Jaleel Ferguson, Keon Buchanan, with some of the underclassmen guys and the freshman Matt Coleman, sophomore Anthony Williams. This is one of Coach Baker's best teams. He's the active wins leader in VHSL basketball right now in the whole state. And this is a very promising team that's, I think, right there when playoff time comes as a state championship threat along with LC Bird and Potomac. So this has the makings to be a special team if they block out all the distractions and all the attention.
Okay. All right. 6A, again, we only have one team at that level, and that's the Granby Comets. Coach Donovan, a veteran coach. What are we looking for from the Comets this year?
Got really hit hard by graduations. So many departures from last season's team, but Coach Donovan is a veteran. He won't be surprised by a whole lot. Micah McCaney, one of the seniors for them, 6'1" guards, a player to watch out for. I think Granby is a little bit in the rebuilding phase right now, but I think we'll see them make progress between now and then because that's typically what they've done here over the years. So I think it's a team that maybe is not in the championship mixture, but a team that come February could be a little interesting.
Okay. Again, same kind of question for the girls. Who's going to win it at the boys level?
I think Maury's an even stronger favorite than either Lake Taylor or Maury on the girls' side. This is a loaded team for Coach Baker. They're very deep. He can play as many as 10 or 12 guys on any given night. And I think really they're perhaps as good as anybody in the state in 5A. So this has got the makings to be a special team, and it'll take a very, very great game from anybody in Norfolk or the Eastern District to beat them.
Okay. We're in our December schedule now. It's district play. But when we get back, we go right into this new conference format. Predict a winner in the conferences. 4A, 6A, 5A, and 6A, both boys and girls.
Well, I think looking at 4, 5, 6, and 4A for the girls, you've got to really look at Wilson as potentially that team that wins it in their conference. I think they've got a good mixture of seniors and young players. Janine Camp, one of those shot blockers inside for them. For the boys in 4A, Booker T. Washington is really, really good. I think it's between them and Norcom. Probably a toss-up right now. You maybe give Norcom the edge because they got a couple more seniors back, okay. So those could be battles. In 5A, on the girls' side, I think Princess Anne's maybe a slight favorite over Maury because they've been in the state championship so many times, but Maury's got the potential to beat them. And the boys, I give Maury the slight edge over Green Run in their conference in 5A.
All right, and then 6A real quick.
6A right now for the conference that Granby is in, I think you're looking at for boys, it is probably looking like Lancetown is the team to beat. And in the girls, it's really kind of wide open. I don't know if there is a potential favorite there that's really, I guess, separated themselves at the moment. But Granby's got a chance, I think, to be down the road one of those teams. I might lean out with First Colonial on a limb and give them the nod.
Well, Matt, a lot of good information. Basketball is big in this area. Whenever we see you at a game, we know it's a big game. We want to thank you for being here. You've shared a lot of information, and we hope our viewers can watch this and learn a lot on the upcoming basketball. For the rest of the winter sports, we will have previews in upcoming episodes. For all your scores and results, check out your big team sites. More NPS Now after this.
Welcome back to NPS Now. With us today is Danielle Roby, Senior Coordinator for Music. Danielle, welcome to NPS Now.
Thank you. Nice to be here.
You have had a busy and exciting school year, and you have some highlights for us for the holiday season.
Yes, December is quite a busy time for us in the music department. Outside of school programs, which are going on nightly throughout December, we also have some projects like our Jingle Bell Jam with the gallery at Military Circle. This year we had over 46 schools signed up to perform.
Now, is it the elementary, middle? Which schools are?
We have elementary, middle, and high school choral groups, bands, orchestras coming throughout the month of December. So
now, how is that partnership working?
Well, the gallery at Military Circle has really tried to step up its game as far as Norfolk Public Schools and the music department is concerned. Last year we launched the first Jingle Bell Jam, and it was a big success, brought a lot of people out to the mall, and of course the kids enjoyed performing. This year we've increased the groups, and the gallery has done some additional support measures for us. They've launched a Facebook like campaign, which resulted in us getting a contribution due to the number of likes that they received on their page.
How many likes did they receive?
Well, their goal was 10,000, and I think we probably raised about $500 through a donation from Military Circle. So we're most pleased with that. There's probably a couple of instruments for our middle school kids, so it's terrific.
Well, that's important. Then you've also had a busy year in the music department for other activities as well. Give us some highlights from the opening of school.
Oh my, we were very busy at the opening of school, coinciding with athletics. As you know, we partner with athletics throughout football season and of course basketball season too, but our marching bands are particularly busy in the fall with those Friday night football games. And this year Steve Suttmiller approached me about doing something special for the ESPN broadcasted game at Lake Taylor. So we put all of our high school bands together to combine into a mass band of 225 students, and they were of course featured in the game and Friday night flight, so that was a lot of fun.
And I was there. They did an excellent job that night.
Well,
how much practice did it take for all of those different schools and bands to come together?
Well, I have to give a nod to the high school principals who really came together to support it. They gave us a little time during that teacher work week to bring the bands together, and they had 2 practices at Lake Taylor, Tuesday and Thursday before the game, and the kids were ready to go. And I have to give my band directors credit. They had rehearsed all through August band camp to prepare them, get them ready, and the kids had a blast.
Well, you have other partnerships too with like the Virginia Symphony. What are they doing with the Norfolk Public Schools this year?
Well, Virginia Symphony is one of our largest arts partners, and we have had kids going to the Symphony, middle school and high school kids, all up to the Messiah concert and beyond. They are part of the TQM program. Betty Minette Cooper donates 1,000 tickets a year for our kids to go to the Symphony, so they've been going monthly. And we have students performing prior to the Messiah concert. And then, of course, we have our big youth concert coming up in April for all of our 3rd graders across the city.
So what did you guys do with the ODU basketball game?
Oh, that was so much fun. You know, first of all, I loved hearing all the kids singing out in the crowd, and what great voices they had, and what a great event it was.
What were they singing?
Just everything that the DJ would play, Katy Perry songs, and just things they were familiar with, and it was so much fun. We had our Larchmont Chorus represent us. Carrie Green brought her group, and they did the national anthem, and they did a really great job.
Last year, Danielle, we talked about a special grant that Lake Taylor High School received for a piano. What's the update on that piano grant?
Well, the grant comes from the E.K. Sloan benefactor through Hampton Roads Community Foundation, and last year their Steinway was refurbished through the grant, and the piano has been returned to Lake Taylor High School just in time for their winter concert. So we're looking forward to the debut of the refurbished piano.
How much did that type of grant cost? I mean, to refurbish a piano, how much was that?
Well, it was in over $25,000.
Wow.
So it was. There's a considerable amount of work that went into the piano with the age that it was and the rarity of the parts and so forth. So I think it's money well invested.
Yes, money well invested. In addition to that grant, what other grant opportunities or funding or projects are on the horizon for the music department?
We also put in for a grant in this year's grant cycle, and just recently found out that Maury High School will be awarded a new grand piano for their stage, a Yamaha piano, and it's valued at over $45,000.
Wow.
So they're most excited. We may not have it in time for their winter concert, but it surely will be in place for upcoming events at Maury, and will serve us for years to come.
So you guys have a lot going on. What else is happening?
Well, you know, we're busy with all of our arts partners and programming for the, for the new year and beyond. We have some exciting offerings through Virginia Arts Festival. We have the Dance Theater of Harlem coming. We have the New York Brass Trio that will be working with our high school and middle school bands, doing some workshops. Of course, we plan for the Tattoo in the spring, which is a big event for us, and just lots of things. Rhythm Project, it's one of our busiest partnerships because the events are spread out throughout the school year. So it's pretty much ongoing with them.
And you have another ongoing event, which is Sounds of the Season.
Oh yes, this is our 7th annual Sounds of the Season, working with Channel 47. They do a wonderful job. They go out on site to schools all over the city and tape our kids and make them feel very professional. They create a wonderful atmosphere for them, and it's something that the community and their parents certainly enjoy seeing on 47.
For the Sounds of the Season, what type of preparation does it take to get our students prepared for those individual concerts at their schools?
Well, the teachers have to really plan well because they're notified in October and they have to pace their instruction during their music classes in time to have the children taped in early November. So it doesn't quite jive with the holiday season, but we get them in, and of course the editing and packaging of the program takes some time too here in the studio. So, we plan way ahead, and teachers are great at doing that. They know exactly how long it takes to prepare their groups, and we're most proud of their work. So we look forward to the show this year.
And the parents and guardians and family members look forward to the show as well. The holiday season.
Yes, they do, and even my neighbors comment.
Really?
Yeah, they know what my job is, of course, and I have some longtime neighbors that always comment on the show. They look forward to seeing it, and they enjoy the children, and so they always comment on what a nice professional production it is.
Well, your neighbors, our family members and friends are in luck because Sounds of the Season will be airing throughout the holiday, so they can tune in to Channel 47 or watch it online too.
Terrific. Thank you.
Well, Danielle, I thank you for joining us on NPS Now, and we want you all to stay tuned to NPS Now. We air weekly on WNPS, Channel 47, or you can watch us online at www.npsk12.com. Again, we want to thank you for watching NPS Now.